All right, well, we're on part two now, and I wanted to talk about eugenics and artificial insemination. Part of this process, it's been going on for so long 83, 93, 203, 13, 31 years, rolling around in my mind. And with the advent of the internet, you can absolutely research anything to the umpteenth degree. And even when I was a little kid, I was really smart. My IQ was 167. My donor father, who replaced this gentleman here, was a university professor. He was getting his graduate, his PhD, and he went on to do some really great things. He was a Dutch immigrant that was actually fought against Adolf Hitler in World War II and the Nazis, and was liberated at the end of World War II after quite a storied history. And it's interesting because the internet allows you to discover things about people after they're dead that they didn't want to divulge when they were alive. So it's kind of been a really great tool for me to heal on one hand and drive me insane on the other, especially when you research and you start connecting the dots between, this whole thing about the UN global population control, everything that goes with it. I won't even get into it. They call it conspiracy theories, but if you Google conspiracy theories and look it up on Wikipedia and you look up all the conspiracy theories, you'll find that most of them are true. And it's pretty amazing. I could do a whole series of videos on what I found, but I wanted to focus right now just on this picture. And human engineering, social engineering, eugenics, artificial insemination. Now, I know it involves me more than it does you, especially if you were conceived in the 90s. Things were totally different in the 90s. However, it is still an offshoot of this deep, dark, diabolical scheme called population control. Because if you're a donor offspring, chances are you're smart, chances are you're good looking, and like most people say, well, you should just be happy that you were born. I remember hearing that. I'm sure that you have too. People are just insensitive. It's kind of like a 270 person club that hangs out on this forum that Bill created many, many, many years ago, and I had a little bit to do with, but not much. Bill and I were the original people involved in Donors Offspring, the group back in the 80s with Candace Turner. God bless Candace Turner. I don't know where she's at, but she was like the first person to know that she was donor conceived. And it drove that poor woman mad. And it drove me mad. And it affected Bill Cordray, and it affected all of the original people that are members of this group in a very, very different way than it affects people today. Although it really is the same. It's just a different set of clothing. The whole focus of why it was done to create a wonderful, warm little baby. Well, of course. But how was that created? How was that accomplished? Anyway, so back to human engineering. These are my two sisters. This is Jody and this is Lisa. And they are very, very precious to me. This was my mother. She was a wonderful mother, but the donor insemination poisoned these two people. My dad could not control me. He was intimidated by me, but he always would say, with a sparkle in his eye and a smile on his face, that that's my boy. And you know what? I never seen my father abuse anyone, anybody. He was the most likable human being. That's why social engineering just simply doesn't work. Well, after I was born, I wanted another brother and sister. I wanted a family. Little did I know that at the time I had probably 10, 20, 30, 40 other kids out there that were my brothers and sisters, but had been sold into slavery, so to speak. I can laugh now. And they're out there, and I located 5 of them looking for a brother and found 5 sisters. 2 of them I went to high school with, one I almost dated. Whole nother story. But these 2 little girls here were the apple the apples of my parents' eyes and my eyes. And I'm going to tell you a shocking story. Why these kids are from Korea. Well, the people at the state of Nebraska knew that Herbert had been in a Nebraska home for feeble-minded youth and was deemed unfit to be a father. That's why they sterilized him. But little did they know that this lady, Betty, would go and enlist the help of a doctor and get artificially inseminated. And they said that they were going to the doctor was a great guy too. I had a relationship with him on the last year that he lived, and he was able to provide me with the information to myself that enabled me to be who I am today. He confidentially gave me information that was very, very confidential, and it's hard for me to even fathom that was so long ago, 32 years ago. Anyway, but they knew that my mom wanted children, and we had foster kids, and they would come and they would go, and they would come and they would go. And it was always painful because nobody would ever stay. And so we wanted to adopt. And my mom was listening to the television one morning, and on the news show, they said that there was this Hold Adoption Agency, and that there were Korean American babies that were available for adoption. Well, the state of Nebraska didn't want my parents to adopt white Caucasian children. They would only approve of biracial children. Social engineering. And you have to remember, this was 1968 when the Vietnam War was going on. So it was kind of a big social experiment that worked out rather nicely, because I love my sisters. They are my sisters, just like this guy is my father, and I am his son, and I am their brother, even though these people here share in no genetic bond. The love runs incredibly deep. But I was shocked to find out why my parents couldn't adopt white children. And I started getting this kind of warped sense of direction from life. I really thought that life just was nasty, and that God was not a really good guy. How in the heck could a God allow this to happen to a family? Well, after searching for 20 to 30 years, I no longer blame God, because I understand the intricacies of this universe and the being of myself, the creation of myself, why it was done, and where I'm going, where I've been. Because you guys got to remember this. You can't know where you're going unless you can see where you've been. Focus on that for a moment. You can't see where you're going unless you can look and see where you've been. I mean, the whole establishment is insane. The medical establishment is saying, who would ever consider creating highly gifted human beings in a secretive manner and not even think that they would find it, that it would be inconsequential for them to even know who in the heck they are? I mean, don't we all have some basic human rights? Just some basic human rights? The answer to that question is no, we don't. Not on this world. People will say that you have rights, but you don't really have any rights. The whole world is just a big play. It's just a charade. We as humanity think we know everything, but yet we're just a step above and below the reality of the understanding of these deep, deep things. Things that on the surface appear so simple, but you dig just a little bit beneath and they become so complex. There's so much we don't know about, and there's so much we need to know about. Education, understanding, and love are the keys to success on this planet. But sometimes, like in your case, if you're a donor offspring, we sometimes are hindered by these powers, these darknesses, this darkness, this diabolical evil that only desires for us to destroy ourselves and to hate each other and to argue with each other. And it all starts with creation. The fall of Adam and Eve. Now, I'm not going to get on a religious kick. Yes, I am a Christian. I believe in Jesus. And yes, I'm going to heaven. And that's my only hope. Because you know what? This world just really sucks. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not unhappy. I'm blessed because I know the truth and the reality of things of the way that they really, really are. Most people are zombies. Most people have no clue on the political system, on history. We've all been dumbed down to such a great degree in 2014 that nobody knows the difference between up and down. Look at Common Core. That's a real work of art. Our whole political system, not only our medical system, but our political system, the pharmaceutical system, the business system, the food system, all these systems have been taken over by something different than what you perceive. It's very simple. And what you need to do is you need to enlighten yourself, like artificial insemination, donor insemination has enabled me to do, is to look beyond the facade, to question authority, to look what's real, what is right, what is pure, what is truth. Because right now, people are making wrong look right and right look wrong. There's no moral barometer in this world. There's no moral compass. There's really nothing to help us find our way through this darkness unless we possess the answer to the secret in which we seek to find. And that's what I've been doing all my life, is seeking the truth. Why? Ever since I was a little kid, I had this deep-seated desire to know everything. Why does the sun come up in the east? Why does it go down in the west? How can we live on this planet? Why are trees green? Why are there 4 seasons? Because God has given us the intelligence to ask intelligent questions. And when we stop asking these questions, we cease to be human. Oh, being a child of the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, believe me, I feel sorry for you folks, you donor offspring that are out there. You've been brainwashed into thinking that this is reality, that 2014 is reality, and this is the way that our planet used to be, or this is the way society used to be. America is done. This is not America. We have been taken over just like they took over our reproductive rights of humanity. That was just one of the first steps to get us to conform into this belief system that is now controlled by, I won't even get into it. I'm having too much fun actually, and I don't want to bore you with this video. So with that, I would like to just say thank you for taking your precious time to listen to my story. And I hope that someday that we can all sit around the eternal table of eternity and have a cup of coffee and look down and laugh at the past, look forward to the future, and be able to just keep on trucking. It's been a really, really strange journey, and I know it has been for you. But I appreciate each and every one of you out there watching this video. Many of you I will never meet. I'll never have the privilege to say hi, to see your smiling face, to give you a hug, and tell you that I do love you.